Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jacqueline. This is not my jungle, it's the kitchen and like entryway. Just ignore the mess, please. But my jungle's like around, you just can't see it. So hi! Welcome back. If you are not new here, thank you for coming back. I don't know, that didn't make sense. Anyway, my brain is a little off, but we're gonna get to that and the reason why. But first, let me tell you what we're gonna do today. So if you guys remember, I did a plant shopping video a little while ago where I picked up these mandulas and I still haven't repotted them. It's been over a week. This happens, which is annoying. I find no matter how much I love it and care for it, I have not watered it though, I'm not gonna lie, so that could probably be why, because I knew I was about to repot it and I didn't want like wet mud. So we're gonna be putting these two babes together into one big pot. This is one of the pots that I got at Lowe's on a discount from Urban Jungle. They're usually $25. I got it for 50% off. You guys know I like these. And I have the container that was inside it because it doesn't have drainage, but I like that it doesn't have drainage and that it's clay because this is a thirsty plant and I like to water it a lot and not have to worry about the water coming out the bottom, and then any excess water that might sit down here gets absorbed by the clay. So that is my love-hate relationship with terracotta, because I can't plant things directly into it, but most of them have drainage. So when I find terracotta that doesn't have drainage, ooh, do I get excited. So potting directly into it for me is not an option for most plants because I don't like to water them every day. But I love the look of terracotta. So we figure it out, But I did also want to talk to you guys and give you just kind of like a bit of a life update, I guess. If you're in the official plant fam in the group chat, like, you already know what I'm going to talk about, but I wanted to share with you guys what's going on, because you might notice that I'm acting a little bit odd, maybe, I don't know, or off. I don't really exactly know what to expect, but I suppose I should start from the beginning. Oh, and also today I'm using my usual organic potting mix from Espoma. This is always the base of all of my soil mixes, and then you guys know by now that I add in whatever amendments are appropriate for the plant and the pot and everything that I'm using. So this is always my go-to, like, I don't know, I want to say like carrier oil, but that's because I mix oils. So this is like my go-to like base soil mix. Works. And then I wasn't able to get all the way to Paul's and Sandy's to get my usual orchid bark that I like, so I had to get the Espoma orchid mix, which is fine. It's just, it's not as chunky, and it's not as, like, I don't know, I don't like the color of it. Is that weird? Like, I don't like the color of the bark. I like the other one because it's prettier and it has big chunks of perlite and charcoal in it. I think this one says that it does too. Ingredients: aged pine bark, horticultural charcoal, perlite, and limestone to adjust pH, and yucca extract. I don't know. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I just prefer the other one. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's called Better Grow, the other one that I like. So that's what we're going to be using today. I'm not going to be using a ton of the orchid mix because this is a thirstier plant, so I don't want it to be too chunky, but I do still need that aeration for the roots, obviously. So I'm going to do what I normally do and just like mix it freehand and hope that I mix the right amount. and make a total mess in the process. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about what's been going on with me. If you've watched my channel for a while, then you probably know, oh man, that was tough to open. You probably know that I have some chronic health issues, mainly Lyme disease, which I've had my whole entire life. It is chronic and it is under control. Like, I'm good, don't worry about me. My main symptoms are fatigue, brain fog, weakness, I suppose. Like, my muscles get really tired faster than somebody my age probably should. I don't know, I get more headaches than the average person, like yada yada, things along those lines. But I'd say that the most difficult one is probably the brain fog and the fatigue, just because it impacts my quality of life. My memory is absolute trash. So, especially when it comes to like names and dates and like things along those lines. So yeah, I'm just really bad at that. But I was diagnosed when I was 8. I am 32 for anybody who didn't know and was curious. I'll be 33 in October of this year. Yeah, I was diagnosed when I was 8, but I was sick before that, and nobody really knows exactly when. But I've had it my whole life. Essentially, my mom had it pretty badly when she was pregnant with me, so it does cross the blood barrier. So like, I don't know if that's possible. There's not enough like research to back that up for me to say that that's a possibility, but to like rule it out completely, I think would be silly as well. My personal opinion. I'm a very like scientific, like brained person, though, if that makes sense. I don't know. I think that finding out I was sick when I was that young kind of made me that way. That's what made me so interested in human biology and microbiology, especially in understanding like what was happening inside my body and what this disease was, because then I was less anxious about it. Do you know what I mean? So basically, I've had it my whole life, and because it took so long to find it and treat it and diagnose it, I was already in stage 3 Lyme disease. I'm not gonna sit here and go over like all the different stages of Lyme disease. If you were to ask a regular doctor, they would tell you that chronic Lyme disease isn't a thing, it's not possible. But I can assure you that I am not the only one who has it. So, and I'm not making it up, which is something that doctors like to tell you, like, especially as a woman, sometimes I think that they're just like, no, like you're crazy, or like you're hormonal. Like, unfortunately, that's a very common thing that happens. So I've been through a lot of BS, that's for sure, when it comes to doctors. But the Lyme disease, when in that later stage, can become neurological for some people. And unfortunately for me, it did become neurological. And when I was about 17 or 18 years old, I had my first seizure. And I know now that the seizure was most likely caused from the medication that I was on at the time for Lyme disease, because there aren't a lot of doctors that will treat for Lyme disease if they can't test you positively for it, and it's very difficult to get a positive test result. These fungus gnats are just like everywhere. It's very hard to get a positive test result for many reasons. The tests that they use aren't the proper tests that you should be using for this kind of bacteria, so they're often inaccurate and don't catch it. And then it's also, the bacteria in itself is very stealthy, so like they just won't even show up in a blood test. In a traditional blood test, you're usually not going to find it. So there's that. There's also a handful of different like co-infections that go along with it. So there are like 3 or 4 different bacteria that kind of encompass Lyme disease. I'm not going to go into like a microbiology lesson for you now, That was actually one of my favorite classes, but probably just because I already had so much knowledge of bacteria going into it. Because girl, let me tell you, you have to memorize like all these things about bacteria, and it's just like a lot. But anyway, anyone who's ever been a science major can attest to that. So that's the backstory really with that. I started struggling more with it in my late teens and early 20s. And I'm just putting a little layer on the bottom of the pot here. I don't know why this is still on here. And then I have to empty out this soil. Yeah, so I had a couple of more seizures after that. The first one, as I was saying, was because of the medication I was on at the time. I had a doctor who was treating me, and she was actually over treating me. Because again, it's hard to find a doctor who's going to treat you without a positive test. But because my mom had had it and been through so much with it, and I had had it for so long, like we knew that that's what it was, you know what I mean? When you have all the symptoms of something, you don't necessarily always have to have a positive test for it. And then if treatment for that thing is working, I'd say that like it's safe to say that you probably have that thing. But because of that, I had to go on seizure medication, and I hated it because I'm very much like a holistic human being, and like I have my degree in complementary and alternative health, so I learned all about herbalism and naturopathy and like all of these different more traditional Eastern ways of medicine, and I can appreciate Western biomedicine 100%. We have so much life-saving stuff now. I just think that it's really important to find a balance between the two and to not always just jump to throwing medication at something, and actually really trying to understand the root of the problem and like what's causing it so that you can fix it if possible. So I've been on that since my early 20s, so about, I want to say, at least a decade. I've been on this medication that is supposed to prevent me from having seizures, and it hasn't prevented me from having seizures. I've still had breakthrough seizures. I don't have them often. I barely have one every few years. As long as I am taking care of myself and I'm eating and I'm staying hydrated and I'm sleeping and all of these other things, then like I'm good, because it is triggered by the Lyme, and the Lyme only really flares up if there's something else going on. So if I'm not sleeping, that's like my biggest trigger, 100%. So are there really fungus gnats in this soil? Like, I've never had that happen before. Maybe it was just the one that flew in there. It's freaking me out. Anyway, I have to see this from like above. I don't remember how I wanted to place them. Oh, like this maybe, because they both are trailing that way. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so my brain, like I said, is a little woo-hoo. As long as I sleep, usually I'm fine. So if I get into a headspace, a negative headspace where I'm like depressed or anxious or something, and I'm not sleeping, it's a really, really bad situation for me. And that is what happened about a year ago now, a little over a year ago now, when I just like was in a really bad headspace and I wasn't sleeping, and I had like a really bad seizure, and that was the last one I had, and that was like a little over a year ago now. So I've been good since then, but you guys know that I went through like a really bad breakup, and that was hard for me to sleep and eat and function and do the things that I needed to do to like take care of myself. So my health kind of just like, you know, went in the toilet. But I'm just backfilling this now with this soil. So I was living in New York. You guys know I just moved here to Connecticut with David. And I haven't yet switched over like my address and everything. I've only been here for a month. I haven't switched everything over. I haven't switched my license. So everything is still New York, and I'm still using my mom's address for, I'm sorry, the window's open and it's noisy. I'm still using my mom's address for like the important stuff, like my license and my insurance and things like that. And what I didn't realize or think of was my prescriptions and being able to access them here. So I was calling around the pharmacy to try to get it, and they were like, we couldn't run your insurance because it's in New York and it's non-transferable to Connecticut. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I can have my mom get it and ship it to me, or I can just go down there once a month and pick it up and visit my mom. Like, it's an hour-and-a-half drive. It's just the gas prices right now are a little high. So like I'm trying to avoid driving back and forth as much as possible because I did like a lot of it moving up here. So in the process of all of that, while I'm on the phone with the pharmacy and yada yada and dealing with all that, David was looking up how to get the prescription online, possibly if I needed to, for a low price, and just like have it shipped here. And in that process, he stumbled across like reviews, I guess, or like ratings for this particular anti-seizure medication. And he was like horrified, and he started reading some of these things to me about how people were suffering from like severe depression and all of these suicidal thoughts and anxiety and oh my gosh, a whole like laundry list of side effects, and like side effects that I was aware of and have felt before. When I first started taking this drug, I hated it. I absolutely hated the way it made me feel. My doctor insisted that I would get used to it, and I really honestly never did. So I got into the habit of taking it at like 4 o'clock in the morning so that I could go back to sleep after taking it, because the first hour that it's in my body, it makes me feel weird. Like, just I get a little bit dizzy, a little bit nauseated maybe, like it's just not fun, you know what I mean? So I've just gone all these years like kind of living that way, because I was always told by my neurologist, by the way, who's supposedly the best in the area, everybody loves this man, even though he lectured me about carbs when after I had just told him that I was going to school to be a registered dietitian and I was in my senior year. Like, homie, I'm learning about advanced biochemistry and you're lecturing me about my plate and what, like, how it should look, and like what a balanced meal should look like as a vegan. And, oh, are you sure you're taking your B vitamins? Like, yes. Did you miss the part where I said that I'm almost a registered dietitian? You guys know, obviously, I'm taking time off from that, but that doesn't mean that I don't have years of education under my belt just because I haven't finished like the 4 or 5 classes that I need to finish. Like, seriously. So, yes, very intelligent man who listens and pays attention, because I think I'm done repotting this. Oh, she's cute. She's so cute. She might need some dirt in the middle here. No, actually, I think we're good. Yeah, I'm just gonna water her. And that's that. So, as David was reading some of these like online testimonies to me from people and how it made them feel, this drug made them feel like a different person. It made them irritable and cranky and depressed and unmotivated and tired and all of these things. I'm like, that's how I feel. And it's frustrating because I've done all this work to be like in a good place, but yet I'm still not feeling good. And it's very, very frustrating, you know. And to think back to my early 20s when I was in an even like the worst place possible. Like I was so depressed that I just didn't care about anything anymore. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anybody around me. I did not care about anything. I just wanted to die. And the only reason why I was put on this medication, because at first I was on it for a period of time. I didn't like it. I came off of it. I hadn't had a seizure for like a year, so I came off of it. And then I had another one, and it was a bad one, so he put me back on it. But the reason why I had that seizure in my early 20s in the first place is because the night before I had that seizure, I had it during the day. I was going to a different college at the time in my early 20s for fashion design, nonetheless. Obviously, I did lots with that. But I was enjoying my science classes more than anything, and it took me a while to realize that I should have just been taking science classes the whole time, but that's fine. I was going to campus that day, and I fell, and I hit my head, and I had a really bad seizure. And it was a pretty traumatic experience for me, I'm not gonna lie, but the only reason why it happened was because the night before I took every pill that I possibly had, and I drank as much alcohol as I could get my hands on because I didn't want to wake up in the morning. But I did. I woke up and I went to school because that's what you do. Like, you just carry on even though you're like dead inside. And I ended up having a seizure. And then this man goes and puts me on a drug that makes people suicidal. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional about it, because it's so upsetting to think that a doctor would put a young woman who just tried to kill herself on a drug that makes you feel like you want to kill yourself. And a lot of these people are on the internet saying like, I don't have any tissues. And I have dirty hands. A lot of people on the internet are saying like, oh, I noticed right away almost that like it made me, like I lost my sense of self. A lot of people said they didn't feel like themselves anymore when they were on it. And I think back and I'm like, well, I had no sense of self. So of course I wasn't going to notice if anything was different, if I was already having those feelings, you know. And then to add to it, another side effect is trouble breathing, and I already have asthma. And then there was another one that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. So it's just baffling to me, all of these side effects are like things that I have and that I have had for a long time now. And I don't know, David looked at me and he was just like, do you really need this? These people that are on it have like uncontrollable seizures, you know, and I don't, and I understand what triggers them, and I know when they're coming. I know that I don't feel good beforehand, and I can always pinpoint exactly why it's happened. So it's not really something I'm gonna have to worry about, like if I'm driving around and all of a sudden like it just happens. Like, I just don't drive on days that I don't feel well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't take that risk. It's not something that just all of a sudden just happens for no reason, essentially. And I'm not somebody who's having multiple, you know, a day or a week or a month or anything like that. So I just don't even know if it's necessary for me to be on it. And I've done some research on replacing it with CBD oil, and I've already been taking that regularly since I started working with Premium Jane. Let me show you the ones that I've been taking. I need a tissue too. Hold on. Okay, so I have a few products here from them. I just want to like, I just did my makeup for this for no reason. So I have been, these aren't vegan capsules, but I have been taking them anyway, of their CBD. I know they have like a few different ones. This one is 40 milligrams per capsule, and they're really easy to take. They're just these little gel caps. So again, they're not vegan, but if you don't care, oh, or just throw them in the dirt. That's fine. I guess we're gonna have to take that one since it got dirty. Yeah, so I started taking these like after my workouts and stuff, and they definitely help the muscle relaxation. I was gonna say relaxation. That's not a word, Jackie. Muscle relaxation. And like fatigue and stuff along those lines. Like, I don't know, it just makes my body feel better. So I have been doing that, but then I also have the regular oil. And I like this one too. It's a little bit more faster acting because you can just put it directly into your mouth and it gets absorbed faster. This one is 25 milligrams of CBD per like dropper full. So this one tastes really good too. It's the chocolate mint flavor, which I don't usually like mint chocolate, but it's subtle and it's really good. This one I don't take internally, but I use it topically. It is their CBD salve. This thing has been a lifesaver after my workouts when my body is killing me, especially my neck. I tend to get like knotted up in my neck and my shoulders, and being able to rub some of this on at night before I go to bed is like amazing. And it is kind of like just nice and calming. So definitely been enjoying this. Plus it smells like eucalyptus and it's pretty delicious. And then you guys know I love my gummies. These ones are THCO, so they're not CBD, but I need something a little bit stronger at night to knock me out. The CBD doesn't like really do enough for me, but these I enjoy because they don't actually knock me out if I only take like one or two of them. Everybody's tolerance is going to be different, of course. I've had people message me and be like, I probably should have just eaten half, and I was like, yes, I recommend starting with half. These are strong, but they're delicious too. These are strawberry banana and they taste so good. They don't taste like cannabis at all. They just taste like a gummy. Like they taste like candy. So they have Delta 8, Delta 9, and CBD as well. So I was thinking I gotta look and see which are gonna work best for me. I don't know. Like the capsules are really easy to take, but like the oil is much faster acting for when I'm starting to not feel good. And then like, I don't know, the gummies just taste good. So I might try the CBD gummies. I haven't tried them yet. And see what works for me and what's gonna be like better in the long run when it comes to replacing my medication. So I have been weaning myself off of it, but I ran out. So I don't have them anymore. Today is my first day not taking it. I feel okay, I guess. My brain is just a little bit like all over the place, if that makes sense. Like I feel very off, and I just want to let you guys know that if I am a little bit off, if I'm feeling fatigued, if I'm not feeling well over the next, like, I don't even know, couple of months, like that's, now you know why. Do you feel me? So I have to like kind of just chill for a little bit, take a break from going to the gym just to be safe, see how I feel, make sure that everything is good, and make sure that I have the CBD on hand. I've spoken to somebody who helped me out with like the dosage and how much CBD I should be taking to replace the seizure medication I was taking before. So I guess we're gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna keep you guys updated if you want. Definitely go check out Premium Jane if you haven't yet. I know a lot of you have, and you love them as much as I do, and I'm so glad because it really is a great company. I don't have any issues with their products. Even their salve doesn't have any bad ingredients in it because I'm very, very picky about what I will put on my skin. There's no like soybean oil, there's no like coconut oil or anything that's gonna like clog your pores, so all good stuff. And it is nice and hydrating, this stuff too. I like putting it on my legs after leg day. Makes my skin look nice too, and it feels good. So that's my story. I appreciate you guys for listening and hanging out with me today. Like, seriously, it means a lot. You guys help me a lot more than you'll ever understand. I feel like I have a bunch of friends and family and an amazing community of supportive human beings. So I appreciate you like a lot. I know that there's a handful of you out there who have your own health issues, so you can relate to some degree, I'm sure, with medications messing with you. And I'm just mostly disappointed that I didn't know all this time, and that I could have potentially been suffering for no reason, and that my quality of life could have been so much better without this drug. So I guess we'll see. We're gonna wait and see what happens. So I do apologize in advance for anything that you might notice that's a little bit different. I might be a little bit more shaky. My nerve damage in my face might be a little bit more obvious. I don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm definitely gonna be more tired. I'm very like physically tired, but my brain is like all over the place. So it's hard for me to kind of just like find some balance right now, but I'm gonna go because this is turning into a really long video. I hope that you enjoyed repotting this beautiful Manjula with me, and obviously you guys are gonna be seeing her plenty. She's gonna go in the bedroom. I'm very excited for her to start trailing and being beautiful. I have this other one over here that's technically David's. He's like, it's my plant, so it's his plant. I'm gonna cut a piece of it and get it rooted and started up a pole because we want to see how big we can get the leaves, and throw it in the greenhouse to see if we can get some nice white, creamy, big, beautiful Manjula leaves. So that is a project that I'm kind of always in the middle of doing, is transferring some of my crazy trailing plants to something to climb to see if I can get the foliage to be bigger. So, but also you need a trailing one too, okay? You need two. You can't just have the one. You need both. So I'm just saying. All right. There's stuff in my Etsy shop if you guys want to go and check that out. Your support is always appreciated. And yeah. If you like this video, you should give it a thumbs up. Dirty thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. There's a join button down there if you want to be part of the official plant fam. Come and hang out with us. Chat about all of these things that we chat about, and we have a great time doing it. It's a really nice little support system to have, especially if you have any planty questions. There's always somebody around to help, or at least point you in the right direction. So come on over and hang out. We don't bite. Well, some of us do, but that's not the point. Anyway, there's also a super thanks. I was gonna say thanks. There's a thanks button. It is a thanks button, but I like calling it super thanks. You can super thanks me. You guys. I'm not even gonna edit this because like this is how my brain always is, but it's like worse now. So yay. I'm gonna go. But yeah, if you super thanks me, it's just like another way of donating a few bucks to my channel. It's definitely appreciated right now. The plant market is like down and nobody seems to want to buy the plants. And I had to raise the prices because Etsy raised their fees. Yay! So if you haven't noticed, I've been doing more sales on Instagram to kind of like avoid some of those fees a little bit. But anyway, I'm gonna go. We also are doing lots of giveaways on Instagram, so don't miss those. If you're not following me on Instagram, what are you doing? Go follow me on Instagram, girl. I've been like posting stuff a lot, so you should go check it out. I'm gonna shut up. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening and hanging out with me. So I'm gonna go. Okay. Okay, I love you. Bye.